Welcome to the Generic Tech Support YouTube channel. Like and subscribe for more content. I thought today maybe we could take a look and revisit Windows 7. Now, I don't know about you, but I think Windows 7 was probably the last good operating system that Microsoft released. It was lightweight, it was fast, it was functional, it had a lot of the things that you loved and none of the things that you didn't really need. At no point did Windows 7 ever feel super bloated. That's why, in my opinion, Windows 7 is probably one of the last great operating systems Microsoft has released. So I want to dig a little bit into this operating system today to talk about all the things that this OS can do that still work today. One of the things that Windows 7 can still do today is run a modern browser. Like for instance, we have Firefox installed, and if I double click on Firefox and I go to Help and choose About Firefox, then we're going to see here that we're on version 139, which is the latest one as of today. Something else that Windows 7 can do is run a modern browser such as Google Chrome. So we could simply just download and install. Don't pay attention to it's only compatible with Windows 10 and 11. As you could clearly tell, it is installing. And then just like that, it works. And once again, just to show no trickery, we're going to go here and we'll do Help and we'll do About Google Chrome. We'll see that it's version 137, which is the latest version for 2025 as of today. Well, enough messing around. This is Windows 11. And I know what you're thinking to yourself is, well, how did you get it to look like Windows 7? How did you get rid of all the junk on the bottom of the screen? And how did you get it to act like a Windows 7 operating system? It took about 15 minutes or so to do, but it really wasn't that hard. And I'm going to walk you through how to do it today. To start with, go to the Generic Tech Support website. Make sure you hit the channel, and then from the channel you go into the performance area for the Granite 11 performance package. And then from there you'll get to this link here, which is just hashtag Granite 11 perf, P-E-R-F. At which point, if you scroll to the bottom, you'll see the bonus content configuration, which is the theme package that was installed on that Windows 11 machine we were just looking at. If you want exactly what I had installed on this particular system, you're going to need to make sure you run the Granite Security package as well as the Granite Security Performance portion, both beta packages. If you run them on your machine, you'll get to the point where you could get this configuration exactly how it was running on that system. If you don't, then there'll be a lot of bugginess and a lot of flaws and a lot of issues, and unfortunately, can't really walk you through every single one of those and how to fix them, and there's really no reason to. If you run the security stuff as well as the performance stuff, you'll get to the point where you don't get those errors, and then all is well. Just to clarify, the errors you're going to get are likely going to be errors with Defender, because Defender configuration will block the packages from installing correctly due to the fact that Defender will think that it's malware. However, that's just because Defender out of the box isn't configured correctly and is turned up way too high for certain configuration standards, whereas on the Granite Security Package configuration, it actually is defined to only block things that are attempting to run in the background or trying to be malicious in intent, whereas the default is to block it on download versus blocking it on execution. So if you have the security package installed, you're allowed to work through that by running the package as administrator. It won't stomp you because it isn't malware, even though it says it is by default because of the way the out-of-the-box configuration works for Defender itself. Hopefully that clarifies that a little bit. If we continue to scroll down here, we're going to see the links. So we're going to need Explorer Patcher, OpenShell, the Windows 7 theme, and then the UX theme patcher application itself. The only one that isn't a direct download in here is the Windows 7 theme, because it does require an account, which is free to make, to download the package. If we follow the link, we'll see that on DeviantArt 25, we have Windows 11 Themes Volume 1, and we'll have the ability to log in to download. You'll need to log in to download. Once you download the package, you'll have the ability to mimic Windows 7. I'll be honest, the Windows XP one doesn't really work all that well, but the Windows 7 one does, as we've seen. Once you have your packages downloaded to your Windows 11 24H2 system, it's pretty simple. The first step in this is to go into the Granite Security package, double-click, choose Yes, allow this to install, and reboot the system. Once the system boots back up, you just want to make sure that you go back into the directory where you have everything downloaded. In my case, I use the Tools directory. From here, I'm going to go back into Security. I'm going to right-click to fix the menu and do Run as Administrator, and then do Yes. And then at this point now, my right-click menu is back to normal, and everything is shifted here to the left-hand side. At that point, what I need to do is I need to go into the Granite Performance and into the Performance itself. And I'm going to run through these actual applications to get them installed. I'm going to make sure that every single one that I run in PowerShell as administrator, I reboot reboot after every single script. Eventually, you'll get through all the scripts inside of the performance configuration, as well as the security configuration. You'll get back to this screen. It's approximately 5 reboots. At this point, we're going to install the Ultra UX theme patcher. So right-click, choose Run as Administrator, choose Yes, and then just simply Next, accept the agreement, Next, agree, install, Next, Next, finish to reboot now. Once the system comes back up, we'll go back into the Tools directory once again. Now we're going to run the epsetup.exe, which is Explorer Patcher. We'll do Run as Administrator, Yes. This will temporarily crash Explorer in order for it to make its modification or changes. Even though it doesn't force a reboot, it's recommended at this point to reboot once again. And then once we're back up again, we're going to go back into our tools directory. We'll find our theme pack itself. We're just going to right click and we're going to extract this. I don't need to show the extracted files. Hit the extract key. And now we have the extracted folder. So I'm just going to shift delete the zip or the RAR file. So that way we now have the extracted folder. From here, we're going to see Windows 11 themes. And in here, you're going to see the options that exist. Now, in my experience with this particular package, I think the Windows 7 one looks the best. You could try them all, but I think the Windows 7 one looks the best. So I'm just going to go into Windows 7. I'm going to locate the .theme file. Now, if you can't see the .whatever on the end, what you'll have to do is you'll have to go into the actual show configuration here and then show the file name extensions. So that way you can see the information after the dot so you can figure out what file is which. Once you have the theme file located, right-click again on File Explorer. Open another window of File Explorer, drill into your C drive, your Windows directory, and look for resources. Once you find it, open up themes, and there you go. There's the themes. So at this point, what we need to do is we need to grab this theme, right-click and choose Copy, and then right-click over here and choose Paste, and hit Continue when prompted. You could do this for every single option in here. So if we went into Windows 95 and we find the theme file, we could right-click on this, choose Copy, right-click and choose Paste, Continue, Yes. And do that for all of them. Every one that you want to try, right-click and paste the theme into the theme property box under C, Windows Resources, Themes. Once you're finished, reboot your system. Okay, so our system just came back up, and at this point, we're just going to right-click on the desktop somewhere and go to Personalize. Next, you're going to click on Themes, and in Themes, you're going to see a variety of customized themes here that don't really show anything. Now, if you highlight them for long enough, you'll see Windows 11 Theme XP, you'll see Windows 11 Themes Vista, you'll see themes for Windows 95, and you'll see the one for Windows 7. So if I click on the Windows 7 one, it changes this to a darker color. It really tries to mimic Arrow, I believe. And at that point, now we have the basis set for our Windows 7 configuration. So we're just going to close out of here. We're going to go into File Explorer again, go back into our Tools directory, and locate the extracted folder. Go back into there, find Windows 7, right-click, we'll set this as the desktop background. So at this point, we're pretty far into this, and you have a choice now. So the choice now is the Start menu, because we could leave this as a Windows 11 Start menu, or we could use the Explorer Patcher program itself and click on this and go under Start menu and choose the Start menu style and set it to Windows 10. And then at that point, when we click on the Start menu, it's more like Windows 10's configuration, right? So now we have the ability to add the productivity little icons, the links on the right-hand side. That works 100% through the actual Explorer Patcher. Or we could go back into the Tools directory, and we can install OpenShell. Do Run as Administrator. We'll choose Yes. Do Next. We'll accept the terms. Next. Next. Install. And we'll click Finish. Once it's finished, we can actually minimize this. We could close out of the Explorer configuration there, the patcher, and we could click on Start, which is going to give us this pop-up. So to make it look like Windows 7, we'll do Classic with 2 columns. We're going to do Replace the Start button. We'll do Custom. We'll pick an image. And in here, we're going to go back to our Tools directory, back into the Themes, back into Windows 7. We're going to find the Start button icons and click on OK. And then click on OK. Now we're going to see this down here. Now you'll notice we can still see the Start menu under it. That's because we have to do a reboot in order to get this to correctly sit. So let's reboot the system real quick. And once the system comes back up, we can modify the configuration to allow that start menu or that start button to look like Windows 7, because it's still a little big, it's a little out of shape, and we don't have the taskbar set yet the way we really want it to be set for our Windows 7 configuration. Now, what I do want to point out is that if you reboot the system and you still see the old start menu underneath this start menu, there's a way to modify the Explorer Patcher to fix that. What we'll need to do is we'll need to specifically go into our configuration for Explorer Patcher, into Properties, and what you're going to do is you're going to look for taskbar style, and it says, in my case, Windows 10 Explorer Patcher. You'll get the Windows 11 default, Windows 10, or the Windows 10 Explorer Patcher. Choose the Explorer Patcher version, and make sure you have your configuration set to use the start button style Windows 10 default, and everything else in here is configured for either the Explorer version or Windows 10 default by default. Like, for instance, my language switcher, I'm going to do Windows 10 no animation, but everything in here should be set for a Windows 10 configuration model. And then once you have that done and you reboot the system again, it'll get rid of the start menu from appearing underneath the original start menu. Something else that I will show you in here as well, which is helpful, is if you open up your OpenShell configuration here and go to OpenShell menu settings and click on that, the default button size is 53 on Windows 7. That's what you want to enter in here if you decide that you want to follow exactly what Windows 7 looks like. And you'll also want to find the Controls tab and specifically scroll down until you find the right-click option, where it says right-click opens WinX command menu or WinX menu. And what that does is it gets rid of that stupid right-click context menu that exists when you right-click on the Start button. And it replaces it with the built-in Windows menu system, so you don't have to use the Shift configuration. Now, if you like the Shift configuration to open up the options or the settings options for OpenShell, there's a registry modification you can make, which is on the GenericTechSupport website, inside of the same place we got the packages from. If you go there and you read that, you can add that registry modification to give you the left shift right click option for opening up the OpenShell context menu and changing it to allow you to right click and open up the other menu. Now, we haven't done that on this machine. I don't intend to do it, but if you need it, you could do it. It's not really that much of a hassle for me to just click on Start, go to Programs, and then go to OpenShell if I need to OpenShell the configuration or modify the configuration. So at this point, I'm actually just going to go into the settings configuration again. I'm going to go into the menu style again. I'm going to set it to the classic 2 columns. I'm going to say OK. And then I click on Start. You're going to see that that's basically our Windows 7 configuration for Windows 11. Now, obviously, you could go into additional configuration details here inside of the OpenShell configurator and change this and make it more streamlined, make it more hollow, make it more glass-like so you could see through it. You can make customizations in the AI to, or the UI rather, for it to look more customized based on what you want it to look like. But in my opinion, I like the way the Windows 7 one works, and I specifically like how it works on Windows 11. And once I had the Granite Security package and the Performance package and everything else installed on here, once I installed the OpenShell and then the configuration, the UX theme package configuration on here, it really opened up my ability to customize the Windows operating system to make it look more like the classic Windows operating systems and get rid of that ridiculous new menu with the center thing and everything else in it. So hopefully this helps somebody out that's interested in modifying the way this looks, because again, to me it was too bright, too cheerful. I like the classic look. That's just my opinion. But again, I can understand people wanting to modify it in different ways. And that DeviantArt website, if you sign up for an account for free, there's a lot of people in there that customize themes and make custom themes for Windows 11. So you could really make it much different than what we're looking at right now. But I just particularly like the way the Windows 7 one works and looks on Windows 11. So let me know down in the comments, what do you guys think? Does this look better? Does it seem to make it more appealing? Or do you think that this is just putting lipstick on a pig? At any rate, I hope you guys have a good one, and thanks for watching. Thank you for watching the Generic Tech Support YouTube channel. Find the content of this video at https://generictechsupport.com/#channel.